So why is trying to burn calories for weight loss a bad idea? Well, there are several reasons, but the first reason I want to talk about is neuromuscular efficiency. So your body is extremely efficient, and it's efficient in many ways that we're going to talk about, but one of them is just in its movement. So if let's just say you were going to do what most people typically do when they say that they want to lose weight. They're going to do cardio because people have this fascination. They think that cardio is going to help them lose weight because they're moving their body for an extended period of time. So they're going to do something like jogging, walking, biking, swimming, ellipticaling, those types of activities. So you're going to do some activity like that. And what happens though is, again, your body's efficient. So it starts to learn, especially with these locomotive activities, but it learns with any sort of activity, but it's going to learn how to do that activity more efficiently. And what does efficiency mean in regard to human movement is it's going to burn less calories. So day one that you start doing something like jogging, if you've never done it before, you will burn more calories in the same amount of time. Let's just say 30 minutes. You'll burn the same amount, or you'll burn a lot more calories in 30 minutes on day one than you will on day 100. So as you go down the path, unless if you increase the time that you're spent, right, chain yourself to the treadmill, you're going to be less and less, you're going to be burning less and less calories. So that's one of the first reasons why trying to burn off calories is going to be not that smart, because day one you'll burn some, but as you get going you'll start to burn less and less because of this neuromuscular efficiency. Your body learns how to move in whatever pattern that you give it. Doesn't matter what the pattern is, it starts to learn. So on top of that, now let's just say you haven't done anything in a very long time. You haven't moved your body. And then you start walking or you start jogging. Yes, you will burn calories. Yes, if you keep your diet exactly the same, you will start to lose weight. But when you lose weight, the amount of calories that you burn will go down as well, because your weight dictates how many calories you burn, because I'm doing more work if I'm pulling a bigger body around. So if my body has more excess weight on it, or just more weight in general, I'll burn more calories than someone who's at a lower weight. So if that person is you and you start to lose weight, you will start to burn less calories. So not only are you getting more efficient at the activity, you're also going to start burning less because your body will start losing. Now, what's one of the problems with not paying attention to your diet is exercise can make you hungry. So most people, they start doing an activity and they justify it in their head, hey, I went on a jog for 30 minutes. I'm going to reward myself with a snack. Also, they don't even notice it, but they start eating a little bit more because their appetite is up. So now that might not be the case for you. That might be something you're very disciplined, you're with it, boom, 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 and you're going along. You will end up losing if you haven't done anything previously. If it's a new activity and you are burning more calories than you were previously, you will start to lose. But again, you've got neuromuscular efficiency, that's going to decrease. And if you start losing weight, the amount of force and the amount of energy that it takes to move your body will also decrease, so less calories. So that means you're going to have to increase your time. And that, again, will start to wear on the body, on the joints, and possibly not be that good. So there's another aspect that goes along with it. This is called thermoregulation. Your body, adaptive thermogenesis. Thermoregulation, your body wants to regulate what's going on because it doesn't understand and doesn't think that you want to lose weight to look good at the beach. Your body is designed for survival. So just think, why would your body adapt to the thermoregulation of your body, adaptive thermogenesis? It's going to actually slow down your metabolism when you put out lots of effort. Now think about this for a reason. Why would it want to do that? Why would it actually slow down your metabolism when you start doing more activity than you were previously? Again, survival. Think back to when we had to put out a lot of effort to get food. Now we have zero effort and we can get food. Literally dial it up, boom, 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 and they almost shove it down your face. But in the past, it wasn't like that. We had to climb up a tree to get an apple. We had to chase a buffalo for miles and miles, or sometimes days, just to get a kill. and then we ate it, and then maybe that herd is gone and we have to wait for another one, or we have to follow, and we have to put out all this effort and energy, and sometimes we didn't eat for weeks. So you had no food, no fuel in your system, only what you ate. You couldn't bring it along with you because it was going to rot. You didn't have a refrigerator, you didn't have preservatives, you didn't have anything to help preserve it except for your body fat. Your own body was its own storage. So we had to go for long periods of time without food, and we were efficient at staying alive. Imagine if you ate one day and then you didn't eat for 3 weeks later, and your body just kept burning and burning and burning while you're moving, trying to follow the buffalo or follow the herd, or go after and find a tree with berries and all these different things, and you ate it and you moved on. When we were in the hunter-gatherer days, if we were really efficient when we walked and jogged and ran and did all these activities, if we were really efficient at burning calories through that method, we probably wouldn't be here, because our body would break down before we even got a chance to eat. So our body has this beautiful system where it starts to then slow down the metabolism so that you can stay alive. It's going to preserve. It's actually going to be more efficient at storing. This is why we have people who are 500, 600 pounds, is because we have this beautiful system of body fat. It doesn't look beautiful to us now. It doesn't seem beautiful, but it's an amazing system that helped keep us alive through times of famine, or just through, again, hunter and gatherer days where we couldn't get food from calling a number and having it delivered to our mouths, basically, or driving down the corner and in our car and just rolling through, boom, boom, boom. Somebody shoves it through our window and then we go home and eat it. We didn't have any of that. And so we had to go out and sometimes not eat for a long period of time. So what ended up happening? Our body starts to slow down its metabolism. Anything that we do eat, then we store extra. So again, this adaptive thermogenesis, where our body is trying to preserve what we have. So this is what happens when we burn a ton of calories. Let's just say we go and we try to do a bunch of activity. Number one, we've got the neuromuscular efficiency. So we're gonna get more efficient at doing these activities like walking and jogging. But on top of that, our body's gonna start slowing down its metabolism so that it doesn't break everything in the body down. It's gonna lower that set point that your body needs for calories in. And the next time you do eat, you're gonna get this surplus and you're gonna store it as fat. Now, the same thing happens, adaptive thermogenesis happens when you go on an extreme diet. When you eat a very low amount of calories, your body does the same thing. Hey, this person's starving because it doesn't know that you're on a diet for a wedding or whatever it might be. It's gonna slow down the metabolism because you're not giving it what it needs, slows it down. Then you might say, hey, I'm giving it what it needs for my normal weight. But again, it only knows what you do to it regularly. It gets into a pattern. So it's gonna slow everything down, and then maybe on top of that, you're doing extra exercise. That's gonna push it down even more. And this is the cycle that you see a lot of people go through. They go on a 30-day challenge, they work out like crazy, they don't eat anything but wood chips and lettuce, and they lose. They do. I'm not saying that it doesn't work in the short term, but then what happens? They have the wedding, they have the vacation, they have whatever, and they gain it all back and more. They don't just gain it all back, they gain back extra on top of that. Why? Because again, their metabolism slowed down so much that their body was like, give me back, and just in case this person does this to me again, I'm gonna have a buffer. I'm gonna have something extra. So that's what happens. So there's something called reverse dieting. If you do go on an extreme diet, you wanna reverse diet, meaning you wanna gradually bring yourself back to a more normal calories of consumption. With burning those excess calories, trying to burn them off, the reason why that strategy doesn't work that well is because, again, you're gonna get more efficient at the activity, but then again, your body's gonna start to slow down the metabolism. So what's the best strategy? What should you be doing for weight loss if that is your goal? Number one, diet. You want to, again, eat in a calorie deficit, but if it's too extreme, that extreme nature of it will start to, again, do that same thing, adaptive thermogenesis. Your body's gonna slow down its metabolism, and it's going to then make it more efficient for you to put on excess weight. So if you do have a cheat day or a cheat week, or if you fall off the wagon, it's going to start to put that excess on as body fat. So that's why you want to work with a nutritionist or work with someone who can find out what your body needs to remain the same level, your resting metabolic rate. You want to find out what that number is in regard to calories. And then you want to eat in a slight deficit. If you eat too much, because people want, and I understand, right? You don't want to just lose weight very slowly. You want to get it off and keep it off. But the problem with that, again, is these biomarkers, these things inside our body start to slow down because it doesn't think that you're doing it for a good reason. It thinks that you're starving it. It thinks that you're going into this survival mode or this dying mode, and we need to keep it alive. So being more tactical about it, being very accurate with how much food you're consuming and making sure that it's at that right level will allow for you to not put it all back on later. And again, if you reverse diet, you can minimize that as well. So, big takeaway. Diet is where you're going to make the biggest effect in regard to losing weight. Now, exercise-wise, lifting weights or having resistance training will help keep the muscle mass on you. So again, if my metabolism starts slowing down, and if I'm doing a lot of locomotive activity like jogging or running, more muscle mass is actually not that good for those activities. Look at marathon runners. Look at people who do these long term events. They're very skinny. Why? Because having more muscle mass is going to cost you more per step, and it's going to be more effort. So lifting weights, and you don't even have to do that many times a week. You got to do it intensely. Doesn't mean you have to do it fast, but you want to push yourself and really get into the burn, get into those muscles once, twice, maybe 3 times a week. That will help keep the muscle mass on you, that keep that tone, keep the shape of the body. But then at the same time, if you slightly diet, that will then allow you to be in a calorie deficit, which then you can start to lose. So strength training, resistance training helps keep the muscle, helps preserve, also triggers some things in your brain to say, hey, we need to keep some of this instead of just burning it all off. So it helps regulate your metabolism. And you diet, eating in a slight deficit, not a crazy deficit, but a slight deficit from your normal metabolic rate, your resting metabolic rate. If I go too extreme, that's when we get these bad effects. Slow it down just a little bit and think about the long term. Again, you have these processes in your body that make it very, very efficient for the body to survive. Doesn't mean it's efficient at losing the weight through these activities, because again, it wants to survive. So that's the reason why doing more exercise or doing more activity is not going to help you in the long term. It might help you in the short term if you haven't done anything, but in the long term, these things start to become harder and harder. You end up having to spend way more time. And again, if you do cheat, or if you say you get injured and you can't do these same things every single day, your body is going to be, again, slowed down with this metabolism, more efficient at putting on the weight, more efficient at putting on that body fat again, and boom, all of a sudden, the weight comes back up. So be tactical about it, be accurate with your numbers, go in a slight deficit with the food if that's your goal of losing. Keep the strength training or the resistance training. That will help keep the muscle mass and actually help your body's metabolism at the same time. So that's the strategy, and that's why you probably shouldn't be trying to burn as much as you should be trying to eat in that calorie deficit. Until next time, I'll see you then.